What's up guys, welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful week so far. So today's video is actually being filmed based on a couple requests. I had someone comment on one of my most recent videos asking me some investing tips that I wish I had known or I wish someone had told me when I was 18 years old. I am now, I don't even want to say my age, I'm 27 years old. So there's a lot of things that I wish I would have started earlier, and I hope this video is able to help all of you guys out, but more specifically some of you guys that are starting out a little bit younger and looking to get into some investing. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and be sure to drop a like. So the first thing that I think every single 18-year-old should do once they turn 18 is to open a credit card. This will help build your credit for pretty much any sort of investing that you're going to want to do, even if it's down the road a couple years from now. Building your credit is going to be one of the most important things that you can do starting at 18 years old, and you're going to 100% thank yourself later as you get older once you have established credit. I know a lot of people right now that are in their mid-20s and they don't even have a credit card and they still continue to use their debit cards. There's so many benefits to using a credit card as opposed to a debit card in terms of cashback rewards, percentage off certain things. You obviously get sign-up bonuses as well, but the most important thing out of all this is building your credit. And I can't say this enough, it is so important, guys. I'm lucky that when I was even younger than 18 years old, my parents put me on their credit card, so I actually had started building my credit even earlier. But one thing you can do if you don't have any sort of credit when you're 18 years old, there's stuff called secured credit cards. I know Discover has a really good secured credit card. I think Capital One has one too. And what you basically do is they require a deposit, and whatever amount of deposit they require, that's basically your credit limit. So for example, let's say I go into a bank and they're like, yeah, we'll give you a secured credit card. We're gonna give you a $200 limit on it, but you're gonna have to put down $200. This is their way of getting that money back in case you default on a payment. It's just a safe way for them to make sure that you're going to pay on time, and if you don't, they're going to take that $200. So it's a great way to build your credit starting out, and a lot of the times you're probably going to have to do that unless you have someone kind of sign for you, like under your parents' name or something like that. But if you're just getting started out, secured credit cards are going to be a great way to go. Now, you're not going to get any huge benefits or huge cash back points or anything like that, but it's a great way to start out. It may be your only way to start out, and it's a very, very smart approach when you're 18 years old. Right now, I have a total of 7 or 8 credit cards to my name, and as long as you guys are good with your money, that's another thing that I suggest. You guys have to be good with your money, live below your means as well. So just because you get a credit card doesn't mean that you can max out the limit every single month. Live the same exact way as you would if you had a debit card only. Use that credit card as much as you can instead of your debit card. Build that credit up, get that cash back on that card, and just keep continuing to build your credit that way. And then obviously once you get more established credit, you can start going towards credit cards that require a higher credit score. Some of the cards that give you a higher cash back, higher reward bonuses, higher sign-up bonuses, and stuff like that. So for me personally, I have a really strong credit score. I've had a strong credit score for the last 7 years now. So mainly the credit cards that I go for are just credit cards that have good sign-up bonuses and good cash back. So I have a rotation of the 6 credit cards I use. I have a certain credit card that I use when I go out to eat. I have a certain credit card that I use when I go and get Lyft or Ubers because they give me certain points back. And then I just chase after the sign-up bonuses. I think last year, just for signing up for credit cards, I made over $1,000 just from their little sign-up bonuses that they have. So build your credit score is probably the most important thing starting out young. You're going to thank yourself later when you start to go maybe buy a car, you're looking to buy a house. All that is going to require a credit score, especially obviously because you're going to get financing or loans from the bank on it. The second thing I suggest you do is open up a retirement account. I have not only my retirement account, but I just have a couple brokerages as well that I invest all of my extra income every single month into the stock market. I highly suggest doing this as early as possible. It doesn't take a lot of education. It doesn't take a lot of reading and research and stuff like that, although I do recommend doing some research on the stock market, but it's pretty straightforward as long as you stick to some of the simple blue chip stocks. But I always recommend doing your own research if you are going to invest your money into the stock market. But in general, the stock market is known to have on average 9 to 10% gains every single year. So rather than putting your money into a savings account that may even pay you like a fraction of a percent, throw that extra money or throw that extra income into a retirement account, into just a trading account, and get that invested into the stock market. You can invest in general ETFs, or if you want to do even more research, you can invest in individual stocks and companies if you do believe in them. But it's a much better way to place your money as opposed to just like even a high yield savings account. You're not going to get that interest that you want. So investing in the stock market is going to be very important, and something called compound interest is going to be your best friend when you start out investing that young. Nowadays, the stock market is so easily accessible. It makes it a lot easier to open up accounts at such a young age. When I first started really getting into trading and investing, there was commissions and stuff like that, which would make it a lot harder for you to sign up. But nowadays, there's so much new brokerages that are so user-friendly. You can do everything from your phone now. And I did want to kind of go into a little bit more detail on this. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an example for those of you guys that don't follow the stock market too closely. I just grabbed 5 stocks right here that I am currently invested in. And if I had invested $1,000 exactly a year ago, I would have made on Apple, which is a very blue chip stock. All these stocks I'm going to talk about are very well known. They're blue chip companies. They're not like these individual like financial tech companies that did extremely well this year. These are just super basic stocks that a lot of you guys know about. If I had invested $1,000 at the beginning of 2020, I would now have $1,625 into my account. If I invested $1,000 in Amazon, I would have had $1,667 in my account. Granted, Amazon is a $3,000 stock right now, so you'd have to do fractional shares on that. Walmart, another one. It's just everyone knows Walmart. It's one of the biggest companies in the world. If I had invested $1,000, I would have had $1,267 in my account right now. Tesla, this is if you guys follow the stock market, this did absolutely incredible. It outperformed pretty much anyone's expectations on here, but I did want to add this in for fun because a lot of you guys know about Tesla. Who knows? Some of you guys may have $1,000 and want to invest it in Tesla. If you had $1,000 and invested it last year, you would now have $7,344 into your account rather than putting that $1,000 into a high yield savings account. You'd maybe have $1,020. Who knows what the percent is on that? And then Bank of America, they got hit so hard. Bank stocks got hit so hard this year, but you'd still be breaking even at $1,000. So the rule of thumb, guys, 9 to 10% returns on the stock market. It's also a lot easier when you're younger, when you don't have built up credit, when you don't have a lot of money saved up. It's a lot easier to get into the stock market and start investing that way rather than going into like trying to buy a house and stuff like that, because buying a house is obviously a lot of a bigger purchase. You have to have a lot more background on not only your credit, but you have to have work history, you have to have tax returns. So at such a young age in your teens, it's a lot easier to start investing in the stock market. The third thing that I want to talk about, this is something that I think this is something that I'm very proud of for myself, and that is live under your means. Spend less money than you make. Save as much money as possible. This is going to be these years in your life when you're early 20s to even in your teens. These are going to be your transformative parts of your life where you're either going to really make it or break it. So saving as much money as possible is really going to get you ahead of that curve. Live with roommates if you can. If you have to move out, live with roommates. Live with your parents as long as possible if you have a good relationship with your parents. That is huge, guys. Saving, who knows, $500, $600, $700, sometimes over $1,000 a month living with your parents adds up big time. If you're saving that $1,000 that you would be spending on rent by living with your parents every single month, imagine if you did that with the stock market. Everything that I just talked about with Apple, with Tesla, imagine how much money you would have there. So yes, if you have a good relationship with your parents, that's awesome. Stay with them, live with them, even pay them rent, but maybe you won't pay them as much. Just live below your means as much as possible. You may see a lot of people going out to eat all the time, but if you guys save money now, you guys live frugally now, I guarantee you guys will thank yourself later as you get older. Once you have money saved up that you can invest, you can buy your house, you can start getting cash flow from properties, you can start getting dividend pays from the stocks that you're invested in. So living under your means is going to be very, very important until you get that established career, until you get basically on your feet with whatever business you want to start, with whatever career that you want to get into. So that's very, very important as well. Now is the best time to get ahead, or that time when you're in your early 20s is the best time to get ahead and stay out of debt. You don't want to go and make your dream car purchase right away. You want to make sure you're building up as much money as possible and save all those things for later on. Set goals from yourself. Be like, after my first property, then I'll buy another car. After I make a certain amount of money in the stock market, then I'll buy this really cool whatever it is, or I'll go out to eat and whatever it is. I'll go to an expensive restaurant. But you don't want to get into that habit of doing expensive things and spending as much money as you're making, because now is the time to get ahead when you're that age. And then the last thing right here if you can, if possible, pay yourself first. This is actually from a book that one of my favorite books I've ever read called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I absolutely love this book. I learned so many things from this book when I read it a couple years ago in my early 20s, and that is try to save 10% of your income. Try to pay yourself first before you do anything else. You're forced to pay yourself, and then you have your bills, and then you have your leftover money that you want to go out to eat or spend or stuff like that. But if you're paying yourself 10% of your paycheck every single month, that is going to add up big time, guys. It'll allow you to save more, and it'll actually, sometimes for me, it was like, if I'm gonna save 10%, then I'm just gonna wanna either work 10% more, get more shifts. If you're working, like, I worked as a bartender in my early 20s, so for me, it was really easy to be like, yes, I wanna pick up an extra shift to save that extra 10%, but maybe you have a job where you can't just pick up shifts here and there, but it'll make you, maybe force you to save a little bit more, or maybe you won't go out to eat that one time to save that 10%. So get that in your head as much as possible. Every single paycheck you get, or however you get paid, for example, is pay yourself first. Try to take 10% out and throw that into the stock market. Even if you don't feel comfortable in the stock market right now, do a general ETF, buy a general ETF. And an ETF is basically a bunch of different companies or stocks in one ETF, so it diversifies your portfolio a little bit more. Or heck, even save it, just put it in your savings account. It's better than spending it. So that's pretty much the tips that I have for you guys. I hope this was able to help you guys out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Be sure to drop a like even if it helped you slightly. Any video suggestions, comment down below. That's actually why I filmed this video, so I want to thank you guys for that. Any sort of comments, I'm happy to help. My email is down below. If you guys do want 2 free stocks for depositing $100, it's basically free money. A month later, you can pull that $100 back out if you wanted to, and then you'll have 2 free stocks worth up to, I believe, $21. So if you guys want that, the link will be down below. I get a free stock, you get a free stock. It's a win-win. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video, and that's it.